Hey folks, Jon the Technology Teacher here. As you can see, we are not in a technology classroom, a little different today. I'm going to be showing you some things on the banjo. Banjo is one of my many side hobbies, and I've been playing for 2 months now, so very limited knowledge, but what I do know I would love to share with you. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the banjo. First, pick up your banjo. You need to know how many strings there are. Most banjos are 5 strings, but there are different variations. Some have 6, and there's tons of different variations of the instrument out there. The one we're looking at today is a 5-string banjo. Each string has its own name. They go G, D, G, B, D. Now, some of those strings have the same name because one's a high variation, like your high G, and you also have a low G. Same as the D, low D and high D. And then you have the lonely B string. So it's G, D, G, B, D. So now that we know the names of the strings of the banjo, we can start to put some chords together and actually play a song on the banjo. Let's take a look at what some of the chords are. Now, some of you may be asking, hey, Jon the Tech Guy, what's a chord? Well, a chord is a grouping of notes to make one sound. So you can arrange different chords to make different sounds, so you're selecting different notes with your open hand. So the first 3 chords you learn on the banjo are the G, the D, and the C. These are called open chords because the open chords have one or more strings that aren't being fingered by your other hand. The first chord we're going to do is the G chord. The G chord is very simple. All you need is one finger and you strum 5 strings. And you play the G chord on the banjo. Here we have the fingering for the G chord. Notice that there's no fingers involved. We have these black spaces, which are called the frets, and what we'll do with the other chords is place our fingers over those fret areas, and we'll make different chords to make different sounds on the banjo. Our second chord will be the D7 chord. Take note of where your fingers are for this chord. You're going to have to place your index finger on the first fret of the D string and your middle finger on the second fret of the high G string. And it sounds something like this. So let's hear the difference between a D chord and a G chord. Here's the D. Notice where my fingers are on the banjo. Try not to press any of the other strings with your fingers. Keep a relaxed position and strum gently. Here is the fingering for the D chord. Your index finger is on the first fret of the B string, and your middle finger is on the second fret of the G string. So notice that the fingers are curved up, not touching any other string. Your thumb is on the back here, and when you're ready to play the chord, just strum all 5 strings. Our third and final chord we're going to review in this video is the C chord. It's probably the most difficult chord we're going to be talking about in this video. To finger this chord, follow the image on the screen. You need to place your ring finger on the second fret of the high D string. You need to place your index finger on the first fret of the D string, the B string, and you need to place your middle finger on the second fret of the low D string. And it sounds something like this. So now we can put all 3 chords together. We have a C, a D, and a G. Let's put these chords together and play a song. Here we have the fingering for the C chord. Your ring finger is on the second fret of the D string. Your middle finger is on the second fret of the low D string, and your index finger again is on the first fret of the B string. The tune is called Good Night Ladies. It may be familiar to some of you. For this tune, we're going to be picking the strings, meaning we have to finger the chord as we would be strumming it. However, we're going to be picking the strings. Follow the music along while I play to know which string you should pick. Now, picking requires the use of 1 or 2 or possibly 3 fingers. The most we'll do in this exercise is 2. So when you see one note, pick the one note with your finger. When you see 2 notes, pick with 2 fingers and follow in that fashion.